The Ford Puma will be the most popular car in 2023. But why? What is it about this small SUV that has people so excited? In this video, we'll take a look at the reasons why the Ford Puma is the most popular car in the world. The Puma name is coming back to Ford, and its new life as a small crossover makes it almost the perfect car for a family. It was first offered with a variety of gasoline engines, including Ford's first mild hybrids. Now it can be bought as an alternative to the Volkswagen T-Cross, Nissan Juke, and Renault Captur, just to name a few. When you get inside the Ford Puma, both the drivers and the people riding with them have plenty of room to move their heads and legs. What about that dash? Their infotainment system has a big tablet that is easy to use. This makes it easy to use all the cool features of the car. And talk about storage, it has smart compartments and the room in the trunk is huge. When the back seats are folded down, the space goes from 456 liters to 1,216 liters. It's pretty good for what it is. Now let's talk about the exterior of the Ford Puma. It's got this cool modern vibe that's hard to miss. Those smooth curves and sharp angles, they look very athletic. And how about that big face and those LED headlights? Gives it a totally fierce look on the road. Interestingly, the design is also very smart, using physics to reduce drag and make the car use less gas. The back seat of the Puma isn't very big. It's fine for 2 people, but you can't fit 3 adults back there because there's not enough room. Even putting in big car seats for kids can be a little tricky. On the plus side, the doors open wide and there are ISOFIX hooks in the outer rear seats, so it's easy to fit 2 child seats. But keep in mind that space isn't great, especially if you choose the panoramic glass roof. The Skoda Kamiq is a better choice if you need more room in the back seats. Compared to the back seats, the Puma's trunk is a bit of a saver. It has 456 liters of room, which is just 1 liter more than the Volkswagen T-Cross. However, to get that extra space in the T-Cross, you have to move the back seat forward. The boot is big and wide, and it has an easy-to-use lip for loading. There are also bag hooks, tie-down points, and a 12-volt socket. The suitcase cover is useful and easy to use. When you don't need it, you can store it under the floor. Overall, the Puma's trunk is useful and makes up for the limited room in the back seats. The front of the Puma is pretty useful. You can store things in the space in front of the gear shift, and there are 3 cup holders so you don't have to worry about where to put your drinks. The door pockets are a little on the small side, but they'll do for this kind of car. Since they are made of hard plastic, make sure they don't rattle. The glove box works fine, and some models have an extra storage box under the armrest of the front seats, which is helpful. The sportier models have smaller bucket seats, which might not be the most comfortable. Overall, it's useful enough to be used every day. Before discussing this further, I want to remind you that if you want to get more videos on the latest car reviews, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Many of you must be wondering about the performance section. With its light handling and smooth gear changes, the Puma is easy to drive in the city. It's also easy on the nerves. It's built like a Fiesta, so the clutch and brakes feel great and make it easy to drive. Also, its small moving circle makes it easy to do U-turns. You can even choose a rear parking camera, which is very helpful since you can't see much out the back. But because the back window is small and the seats are low, you might feel like you're in a sedan instead of an SUV. The ride is pretty firm, so you might feel bumps more than in some other SUVs like the Peugeot 2008 or the Renault Captur. This is especially true of the sportier ST-line cars, which have stiffer springs and dampers. The Puma isn't the quietest car on the highway, but at this price point you can't expect it to be as quiet as an S-Class. Still, it's fine and there's nothing really wrong with it. You might not think much of the small 1-liter turbo engine, but the 155 horsepower version picks up nicely when you need that extra power on the highway. The mild hybrid system makes even the 125 horsepower version feel a bit stronger than you'd expect. Is it awesome on the highway? Maybe not, but it works fine and doesn't bother anyone. When it comes to roads with turns, the Puma shines. Even though it is built on the sharp-handling Fiesta, the Puma feels more aggressive and livelier because it has a longer wheelbase and stiffer suspension. Some might say that it's even more fun to drive than the Fiesta on those famous British B roads. But there's a catch. How good the ride is on roads with many bumps, you might get jostled and bounced around a lot. The 200 horsepower engine in the fast ST version makes it even more fun to drive on the right road, but it's also stiffer and has tighter seats, which might not be everyone's cup of tea. So if you want a fun car to drive, the Puma won't let you down. Just be ready for a stronger ride. Now what about Puma's MPG emissions and tax? People often call the Puma a hybrid, but it's not quite like the Toyota hybrids, which can run for short periods of time on electric power. It is actually a mild hybrid, which means it has a small recharging battery that helps the stop-start system turn off the engine earlier in city traffic and keep it off longer. This system also helps with some of the car's electrical functions, which makes the gasoline engine's job easier and gives the car a little more power and torque when you move quickly. It does make the economy a little bit better, but it doesn't improve fuel efficiency. The 125 horsepower version says it gets around 52.3 miles per gallon, but it might be hard to get that in real life. The 155 horsepower version is even thirstier, and the 200 horsepower ST version uses the most gas. In the real world, a Toyota Yaris Cross hybrid with a more advanced hybrid engine can get better gas mileage than 60 miles per gallon. Still, the mild hybrid system helps keep emissions down. This means that the basic 125 horsepower engine has decent emissions of 122 grams per kilometer, which means that the first year's road tax is 190 pounds. The Puma did very well in its crash test. Euro NCAP gave it a perfect 5-star grade, giving it a score of 94% for keeping adults safe and 84% for keeping kids safe. When it comes to safety, it's definitely a good choice. The basic Puma has a lot of helpful features that will keep you safe and comfortable. You get rear parking sensors, forward collision warning with automatic braking to detect pedestrians and cyclists, cruise control with a speed limiter that can read road signs and automatically adjust lane-keeping steering, and automatic headlights with a smart high-beam system for driving at night. There are also rain-sensing windshield washers and Ford's Quick Clear heated windshield, which is great on cold mornings. The higher-end models go even further, with radar-guided cruise control to keep a safe distance from the car ahead, a blind spot warning to keep you from pulling out into the path of another car, and an evasive steering feature to help you steer away from possible collisions. It comes with a lot of great safety and comfort features that will make driving safer and more fun. The trustworthiness and flaws of Puma. A lot of the mechanical parts of the Puma and Fiesta are the same, which is usually a good sign for durability. But keep an eye out for a few small things. Since the 48-volt mild hybrid system is still fairly new, we don't yet know how long it will last. Also, some of the trim inside the car might not be the best, so we'll have to see how it holds up over time. Since it came out in early 2020, the Puma has been recalled 3 times to fix problems like loose links on the hybrid battery, problems with the driver's airbag, and a software problem with the emergency e-call system. When thinking about a purchase, it's always a good idea to be aware of these possible problems. And that's all about the Ford Puma. Thanks for watching.